Door mechanics, especially in tactical first-person shooters, in my opinion, have evolved very little over the past decade or so. It's weird to think that a Rainbow Six game released back in 2003 had a good door opening mechanics, but a Rainbow Six game released 12 years later does not even have proper doors. Anyway, let's start with the bare minimum. That is, we should be able to quickly fully open and quickly fully close them. We should be able to open doors like so, and we should be able to close them as well. Let's open the door again so that we can go back in. Now what I did just then should not be physically viable. Let's go through it again. If we're standing here, which is nowhere near the half of the handle. By the way, I call this half of the door as the half with the handle, and this other half of the door as the half with the hinges. Speaking of hinges, one issue that remains up till even today is that most in-game doors lack a physical 3D model of the hinges, and that makes us unable to determine whether a door opens in or out without either depending on an icon on the HUD or needing to actually open the door ourselves. Okay, so if we are nowhere near the half of the handle, then we shouldn't be able to reach the handle, so we should not be able to open the door from here. In order to reach it, we have to either lean forward and reach across, or simply position ourselves in closer proximity to the half of the handle. I mean, here we're fine, although why don't we avoid standing directly in front of the door we're about to open, since that would leave us exposed, and let's stand somewhere off to this side. The next thing that we're not supposed to be able to do was close the door from way over here. Look at where we are. We're nowhere near the half of the handle. If we can't reach the door handle, then how are we pulling the door? With what do we pull the door? What the game should require us to do is reposition ourselves to be within handling distance of the half of the handle. So we should be able to pull the door closed from here, or even from here. Does that make sense? Again, just to drive the point home, we should not be able to open the door from here because the handle is out of reach. Now let's move on to doors that are already partially opened. Here, now we can't close the door. We can only fully open the door, but we're not given the option to fully close the door. Oddly, if we just nudge it a little, we'd have the exact opposite problem. Now we can fully close the door, but we cannot fully open it anymore. So, ideally, when the door is partially opened, regardless of how much it's opened, we should be given both options. For instance, if we're standing on this side of the door and we need to quickly fully pull the door closed, maybe we could aim at the half of the handle and tap use. And if we need to fully push the door open, maybe we could aim at the half of the hinges instead and tap use. Similarly, from the other side, if we need to fully pull it open, maybe we could aim at the half of the handle and tap use. And if we need to fully push it closed, we could aim at the half of the hinges and tap use. One of the things that I like from Raven Shield is this incremental opening of doors, which allows us to fluid open and fluid close them. It's fine from this side because when we scroll the mouse wheel up or forward, it fluidly pushes the door, and when we scroll the mouse wheel down or back, it fluidly pulls the door, which feels natural. But if we go over to the other side, it's reversed. You see, in Raven Shield, scrolling the mouse wheel forward always fluid opens, and scrolling it back always fluid closes, regardless of our position in relation to the door. To me, it just feels odd scrolling my mouse wheel back to push and scrolling it forward to pull. And I think this could be made more intuitive by having scrolling forward as fluid push and scrolling back as fluid pull. On a side note, if we are in reach of the half of the handle, then we should be able to both fluid pull and fluid push the door. However, if we're only within distance of the half of the hinges, then we have nothing to pull the door with. So we should not be able to fluid pull the door, but we should still be able to fluid push the door. Same from the other side. If we are in reach of the half with the handle, then we should be able to both fluid pull and fluid push the door. However, if we're only close to the half of the hinges, then we should be able to fluid push but not fluid pull the door. Now, on to kicking. We shouldn't be able to kick the door in if we're not in reach of the half with the handle. While we won't kick the handle directly, because that's a bad idea, I think at least being in close proximity and aiming at the handle should approximate us kicking the locking mechanism. So it should only be doable when we're around this area. Also, from this side, the door opens inward towards us, so we should not be able to kick the door in, obviously. But not to worry, we can always try knocking.